Hello, we're here with Drew Dvorsky. Drew. He's a songwriter, music producer, just a good guy. Just a good guy to be
Thanks,
around.
buddy. Happy to be here.
Dude, we're happy to have you, man. So we're just gonna talk a little bit about like your start to your finish to where you want to go in a couple years or a year.
Cool.
So yeah, let's get right down to brass tacks, baby. We got of course you come from you're from LA, correct?
Yes,
Born
correct.
and raised. Okay. And so how did you get started with music?
I believe the first instance of I want to do this shit is... Oh, can I curse? I'm sorry.
Of course.
Of
course, man.
Cool.
That's what we're here for.
This shit. I probably shouldn't. This music, my second word ever was like batar, apparently. I was like, batar. And my parents went to like a bar mitzvah or a wedding or something when I was like 1 or 2. And like they got these like blow up guitars and I was like obsessed with them. And I was like, batar. And it was my second word. And I was like, I would always try to play the little plastic batar. And that was like the thing, you know? But that was like the first instance that I always wanted to do this. And like, even when I was like 5, my dad was like, I'm gonna buy you a guitar. And he like bought me a guitar and like put it in the closet for a while. Just like knew I was gonna do it. And then I think I started taking my first serious lessons when I was like 8, I believe, like 7 or 8. And from it's just been a constant thing in my life from there. It was just something I could do by myself. That was like, for me, that was like, you know, when the day was over and everything was done and I could just sit and like play my guitar and like tap into like a different understanding of myself through like what I was playing. It was always just like, I'm playing like something sad. I must be sad, or like, you know.
Right. So when you were younger, was that something that you knew like you were going to pursue, or were you still at that age where you're just like, I'm just playing guitar, baby? Like,
yeah, I would say even till like very recently, it was pretty much just more of a conquest at like trying to get better at it.
Okay.
And you just get to a point where you like get like what you want to get better at is like the most professional situation it can be.
Yeah. No,
but
that's
for
so
me,
true.
it's always been just like trying to be better at making music.
Right, as opposed to like actively trying to find your calling. It was just like,
Yeah.
like this is just something that I love and like this is something that I want to pick up. And then did that just a smooth transition right into like what you're doing now?
I mean, kind of. It's hard to explain, but I would very much say like I'm obsessed with music. Like I sleep, dream, talk. Like that's all I do.
Right.
So I think it just like the hunger just kept going, and it was just like I just kept wanting to learn more and learn more and learn more, and I like was able to study all the way through like college, and after college it was like, who do I know where I can just like learn from, who's like the best at this shit, and then you just meet people and end up like working with them and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
What was like the first connection that you made that really like turned it from just like a thing of fun and like a hobby and something that you could escape to like, okay, now I can like start making money at this, or like whether it's something that you just want to continuously pursue? Was there somebody who like took you up and like raised you as far as the music goes and like that transition to you, or was that something that you just like again fell into, like you said, you just meet these people once you move or whatever, and then you're like, hey, what, like, how can we work together? Does that make
Right.
sense?
Well, I could give you the whole like timeline.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's do it.
I started taking lessons at Amazing Music in the Palisades. Shout out Amazing Music. When I was like 8, and it was like something I would go to like religiously because I was just like obsessed. And I really think like shout out to the teacher, I forget his name, but like he taught me by showing me songs I wanted to learn. So for an 8-year-old kid with like a terrible attention span, it's like I was really entertained. I was like, oh, I'm learning Green Day songs, and I'm learning Hendrix, and like I'm learning things that
And
I
like
want to
Baby
play.
Shark and shit.
And then he'd be like, oh, by the way, now that you know that riff, like this is like what it is behind like how cool it is. So, like
Okay.
he would teach me through like stuff I straight up asked him to show me. So from a beginning age, I just got so entrenched into like understanding how these magical guitar riffs happened, AC/DC riffs, and I was like, what are the scales that they're playing?
Like
how
the
do
science behind it, not
yeah,
just
the
like
theory. It's called theory.
Right.
But I was just like, I want to learn more. And I was lucky to like take classes and lessons and like everything up until middle school. And I went to Malibu Middle School, shout out Malibu, where they had a guitar orchestra program. So as part of their music school, like they have band and trumpet and this and that, they like started teaching guitar orchestra the year I got there. Like I was in the first class of guitar orchestra at Malibu High School under Bill Bixler and John Kibler. And they were these awesome dudes who like we played in the recital with like everybody, like at school, in the trumpet and everything. Like there was a guitar orchestra, and part of the class was like actually writing a song and recording something and like learning about how it works. And I did that in middle school, which was incredible. And I learned my first like theory and how to read music and like really just like all the fundamental things in a classroom setting, which was like really, really awesome. And obviously from there, from like 8th grade onward in high school, I had all this knowledge. So I was just like playing in bands and like trying to record myself with friends and like whatever I could, you know. It just went to the next level. It was like, how do I take what I just learned here? And like, so I did one of those, like, there's a couple like School of Rock or something where it's like one of those things where they get a group of kids together and play shows around LA. Like I did one of those, and I had bands.
How old were you when you did that?
Right after middle school, so like beginning high school. And then towards the end of high school, I didn't do it as seriously out in the public. It was more like my own personal study. But you know, in high school, I was like playing sports and had girlfriends and stuff.
Was there something that you thought you wanted to pursue at that time?
I mean, you know, like 11th grade, 12th grade, I just knew I was like good at school. It was like pretty easy for me. And like I just knew that like college was like the thing I was going to do, because like a lot of my family came from like poverty and like through education became like who they are. So like I just didn't even think otherwise than like I'm going to go to school and get a degree in business. You know, I got a business degree.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You got a business degree.
As well as like this special exception music thing, which I'll get into.
Okay.
But yeah, I just like at the time, I just like, I didn't think that music professionally was a real thing. I just always thought like, you know, my family comes from entrepreneurs and doctors and like whatever, and like people who always like hustled. Like music is this crazy thing where it's like, it's hard to make money and everyone's doing it. And like, I never really did it for the rat race of it. So it wasn't even a thought that I would do it professionally at all at this time. And then I noticed like my senior year of high school, my freshman year of college was like the first time where I wasn't actively like doing music stuff. And I was like really depressed. I was like, this might have a factor to do it. So I was taking my business degree and I started taking like every music class you could take. And if you're not a music major, they like cap you at level 200 classes. So like easily within my first year or second year, I had reached the maximum amount of music classes you can take. And I was like, this is BS. I've been playing forever. Like they should let me do this. And I had this like whole speech and like rant prepared to like bring to the music school and like fight for this thing. And I basically showed up and I told them my spiel and they were like, okay. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, like you just have to audition for this one guy and you can get a special exception music minor. And like, I was like, okay. And I like started like doing less of the business stuff and just doing more of the music stuff. And I was like, this is what I care about more, you know. And I just became more and more disinterested in accounting and things like that. And I was like, you know, you're 20 or 21. I had this like existential crisis. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. I just want to learn more about music. So I found this awesome situation where like I switched my business major to like a less serious business major that was like pretty easy. And I was like, I can learn all the music stuff I ever want. And I ended up taking more classes than the music minor would let you. And they're like, we're just going to let you keep doing the music thing.
That's awesome.
And like, it will like count towards like a degree, I guess. I don't even know what they technically gave me at the end, but I like kind of earned a music degree. I took every single class possible. My last class at college was like a 9-person class with like the guy who runs the studio for the music school, like recording orchestras and stuff, was like basically an internship. It was like a 500 level master's class. So like I kind of just like took all of it. And when I was in college, I was very fortunate to get an internship at Remote Control Productions, which is where Hans Zimmer's at.
Oh, shit.
So
Okay.
I have
Hans.
family friend,
My
and
boy.
I actually have the talent and work ethic for it. So it just like worked out where I could do this internship, and I actually did it twice. Like I'm like one of the only people who's ever done it twice, but I just like really wanted to learn. I was just like, I want to know how the like arguably the greatest modern composer.
The
Go support
majority of
local
opinion.
artists in LA, man. They're playing, they're talented.
And they're
Go
so
play your
talented.
local shows, buy
They're so
people's art,
talented.
buy fucking CD tickets and whatever.
Buy indie films.
Yeah, and
On
still go see
VHS.
Cardi B. Do it all, but don't forget about that quality. There's real people who are trying to make real
Yeah.
good stuff out there.
Right. And like what really matters, and like the shit that moves your soul.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, sure, again, I will get down. But, like, in no point am I actually listening and going, like, wow, that's, like, that, like, messes me up. Or, like, that makes me think. You know? And I think that's what mumble rap is. It's, like, the garbage food where you're just, like, I can sit back and get obliterated and listen to it and enjoy it without having to, like, think twice about, like, what is actually being talked about here, you know?
And I think it's the same thing that's going to happen with McDonald's. Like 10, 20 years ago, people were kind of cool with McDonald's. And now we're all starting to realize, like, yo, that shit's gross.
I mean,
Hopefully it will change.
right. And it was in a much better place then. At least I like to
Right.
think as far as like the quality goes, you know? But yeah, McDonald's, dude.
It's gnarly. And don't get me wrong, like last time I was still awake
Gnarly.
at 6 a.m., I might have considered it, but
Exactly.
it's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no
Same
bueno.
thing. When you're blazed out
Can't
of
eat
your
McDonald's
mind, you
every
can
day.
listen.
That's the
You
thing.
can't.
People are eating McDonald's every day.
No, and people
musically,
are listening, and people
you
are
know?
listening to
See
that
McDonald's
music
every
day.
once in a while.
Every day,
Not
man.
every day.
Listening to it when
There's
you're
a
at
time
the
period where
club.
the Beatles was like the top of the charts,
Exactly.
like Elvis, and sure they were equally commercialized, but it was just like some quality stuff there.
Yeah, stuff that would change the
And
world.
I could tell you Paul McCartney cared a lot about what came out of his mouth.
Right.
He really did.
Right.
And he's buco rich.
I've never
I'd
heard
love
that.
to
I'll
meet
have
him.
coin
Shout
that.
out-
Buco Rich.
Shout out Paul.
Buco, does that
You're a living
apply?
legend.
Just universally, like, oh, that's Buco hot, like super hot.
It's a good word, eh?
Buco, I like it.
Yeah.
Coining. Yeah, pocket.
Sounds
knowledge.
rich.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. Well, I guess we're out of time, right?
Darn.
Damn. All right.
It was a
Well,
good time.
It was a good time, not a long time, but yeah, thank you so much, Drew. Again,
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for having
absolutely.
me. Hope to do this again,
Absolutely,
man.
man. We
Let's
will.
make some tunes.
we will. We
kick
will.
it.
It won't be me. I promise you. It'll be one of
Why
these
not,
guys.
man? You could do it, bro.
I'll sing or something, or I'll
Hey. Yeah, just feel it, bro. That's all you need to do.
I'll just like, yeah, I'll just like, you know, yeah, I can sing a
Yeah, dude, let's do
country
it.
tune.
Old country road.
Yeah, right. All right, Drew.
Much love.
Signing out.
Appreciate you.